Turn off non-essential notifications. The digital landscape has evolved into something far more sophisticated and psychologically manipulative than earlier generations experienced. Social media platforms now employ teams of neuroscientists and behavioral economists to design interfaces that exploit specific vulnerabilities in human psychology. These systems learn your personal triggers, track your usage patterns, and deliver content precisely calibrated to capture your attention at moments when your willpower is weakest. Every scroll, like, comment, or share provides data that helps these systems understand exactly what content will keep you engaged longest. The algorithms identify your emotional triggers, political interests, relationship concerns, and career anxieties, then surface content that activates these psychological pressure points. When you're trying to focus on important work, these platforms send notifications containing information specifically chosen to override your current priorities. The addiction mechanisms built into these platforms create what researchers call continuous partial attention, where your brain maintains a background expectation of stimulation even when you're not actively using your devices. Your nervous system stays primed for the next notification, making sustained focus feel uncomfortable and unnatural. This state of perpetual readiness to respond creates mental tension that underlies most modern attention problems. The Lotus method includes practical techniques for managing digital environments without completely disconnecting from technology, recognizing that total digital abstinence isn't realistic for most people in 2025. The approach involves strategic curation of your digital environment rather than wholesale rejection of technological tools. You learn to distinguish between technology that serves your goals and technology that serves corporate engagement metrics. Email, collaborative software, and educational platforms can support meaningful work when used intentionally. Social media feeds, recommendation algorithms, and attention harvesting apps typically work against sustained focus. Practical digital management starts with notification auditing. You examine every app on your devices and eliminate notifications that don't serve immediate practical purposes. Text messages and calendar alerts might stay active, while social media notifications, news alerts, and promotional messages get disabled completely. The goal is creating periods of uninterrupted focus, rather than living in constant reactive mode to external stimuli. Remote work presents new distraction challenges that didn't exist when most people worked in traditional office environments. Home environments lack the focus cues that offices provided through physical separation, social expectations, and environmental design. Your kitchen, bedroom, and entertainment areas all compete for attention within the same space where you're trying to accomplish serious work. Family members, roommates, and domestic responsibilities create interruptions that office buildings naturally filtered out. The psychological boundaries that separated work time from personal time have dissolved for remote workers. Your laptop sits on the same table where you eat meals and watch movies. Your bedroom might double as your office, creating confusion between rest space and productivity space. The commute that used to provide transition time between different mental modes has disappeared, leaving you to manage these transitions consciously. Practitioners learn to create physical and digital boundaries that support sustained attention in any environment through deliberate environmental design. Physical boundaries involve establishing dedicated workspace areas that exist solely for focused work, even in small living spaces. This might mean using a specific chair that you only sit in during work hours, or designating one corner of a room as your focus zone. The key is training your brain to associate certain physical locations with sustained attention rather than casual activity. Digital boundaries involve creating separate user accounts, browsers, or even devices for work versus personal activities. Your work computer stays logged out of social media platforms. Your personal phone gets placed in another room during focus sessions. These separations help your brain distinguish between focused work mode and relaxation mode, reducing the cognitive load of constantly resisting tempting applications. The method addresses productivity guilt, which manifests as modern anxiety about not being busy enough or optimizing every moment of your existence. Social media amplifies this pressure by providing constant exposure to other people's curated productivity performances. You see posts about morning routines, workout schedules, side hustles, and achievement milestones that create internal pressure to constantly improve and optimize your own life. This comparison culture generates anxiety that actually reduces focus and performance rather than enhancing it. Productivity guilt creates internal tension between relaxation and accomplishment that prevents genuine rest and genuine focus. When you're resting, you feel guilty about not being productive. When you're working, you worry that you're not optimizing your approach enough. This dual anxiety keeps your nervous system activated and makes sustained attention more difficult to achieve and maintain. Comparison culture amplified by social media creates internal pressure that reduces focus and performance by shifting your attention from internal goals to external validation. Instead of focusing on the intrinsic satisfaction of completing meaningful work, your brain starts tracking how your progress compares to what others are sharing online. This external focus fragments attention and creates emotional volatility that interferes with sustained concentration. The Lotus approach emphasizes personal progress over external benchmarks, reducing the anxiety that fuels distraction-seeking behavior. You learn to measure success based on your own growth patterns rather than comparing your inside experience to other people's highlight reels. This internal focus creates sustainable motivation that doesn't depend on constant external validation or competitive comparison. Specific protocols help handle interruptions from family, roommates, or unexpected urgent requests during focus periods without abandoning the practice entirely. These protocols involve clear communication about your needs, pre-established signals that indicate focused work time, and flexible responses to genuine emergencies. You establish agreements with household members about when interruptions are appropriate and when they should wait until your focus session ends. The interruption protocols include rapid assessment techniques for determining whether something truly requires immediate attention or can wait until your focus period concludes. Most interruptions feel urgent but aren't actually time-sensitive when examined carefully. Learning to distinguish between genuine emergencies and perceived urgencies protects your focus time while maintaining important relationships. Building flexibility into the practice while maintaining core principles requires understanding which elements of the Lotus method are essential and which can be adapted to changing circumstances. The 4 pillars remain constant, but their specific applications adjust to your current environment and constraints. You might practice shorter stillness sessions during busy periods while maintaining the daily rhythm of awareness practice. The key lies in protecting the essence of focused attention rather than rigidly following predetermined schedules or techniques. When unexpected demands arise, you respond skillfully without abandoning your commitment to sustained focus entirely. This flexibility prevents all-or-nothing thinking that leads people to quit practices entirely when life becomes complicated or unpredictable. These strategies address the most common obstacles practitioners encounter, but understanding how to implement them is different from seeing their actual impact. The true test of any method lies in how it performs when applied consistently across real-world results and applications. Real-world applications across diverse professions demonstrate the Lotus method's practical effectiveness when implemented consistently. Users report improved focus within weeks, with benefits spanning different industries, age groups, and work environments. The method adapts to virtually any professional or personal context, producing measurable improvements in productivity and overall life satisfaction when practiced with commitment and patience. One study found remote workers save 72 minutes commuting daily and redirect that time into productive work. This time reclamation represents just one example of how environmental changes can support sustained attention. Remote workers who apply Lotus principles create dedicated workspace boundaries and establish clear transitions between focused work periods and personal time, leading to better outcomes in both areas. Software developers report significant productivity gains by protecting their peak cognitive hours for complex programming tasks, while handling meetings and administrative work during natural low-energy periods. The awareness practice helps them recognize when their minds start fragmenting across multiple projects, while flow alignment ensures they tackle demanding coding challenges when their brains are naturally sharp. Many discover their most productive programming happens during specific windows that they had never consciously identified before. Graduate students find the method particularly effective for overcoming research paralysis and writing blocks that can stall academic progress for months or years. The intentional action pillar helps them engage deeply with complex academic texts without the scattered attention that leads to reading the same passages repeatedly without retention. Brief stillness periods between research sessions allow their minds to process dense information before moving to the next source, improving both comprehension and synthesis. Entrepreneurs discover that focused attention on high-impact activities produces better business results than staying constantly busy with low-value tasks. The method helps them distinguish between activities that feel productive and activities that actually generate revenue or advance strategic goals. Flow alignment reveals when their creative energy peaks for developing new offerings, while awareness practice reduces the anxiety-driven need to monitor metrics constantly throughout the day. Healthcare workers adapt the techniques to maintain focus during long shifts despite constant interruptions from patients, colleagues, and medical equipment. Nurses use awareness practice to stay present during patient interactions even when their minds are occupied with multiple competing priorities. Emergency room physicians apply brief stillness periods between cases to reset their mental state and maintain diagnostic clarity under pressure. The intentional action approach helps medical professionals sustain concentration during detailed procedures that require extended focus despite chaotic hospital environments. Creative professionals initially worry that structured focus periods might restrict their artistic flow, but most discover the opposite effect. Musicians use awareness practice to notice when their practice sessions become mechanical rather than engaged, helping them stay present with the music they're creating. Writers apply flow alignment to identify their peak creative energy periods and protect these times for original composition rather than editing or administrative tasks. Visual artists find that intentional action helps them maintain focus during detailed work that requires hours of sustained attention to achieve professional quality results. Parents successfully integrate the method into complex lifestyles that balance career demands with family responsibilities. Working parents often feel torn between professional obligations and family time, leading to guilt and fragmented attention in both areas. The Lotus method helps them be fully present during designated work periods and fully engaged during family time, rather than operating in constant partial attention mode that serves neither commitment effectively. Parent practitioners learn to communicate boundaries clearly with family members about when focused work time is protected and when they're available for interruptions. They use stillness practice during brief moments throughout the day, while coffee brews, during car rides, or after putting children to bed, to reset their mental state between different types of demands. This helps them transition more smoothly between professional focus and family engagement without carrying stress or distraction from one context into the other. The method proves effective across age groups, from college students dealing with social media addiction to executives in their 50s facing attention challenges related to information overload and decision fatigue. Younger practitioners often struggle more with digital distraction management, while older practitioners typically need help adapting to increased cognitive demands and technological complexity in modern workplaces. However, the core principles of awareness, flow alignment, stillness cultivation, and intentional action address fundamental attention training needs that transcend generational differences. The key factor in all success stories is consistent practice rather than perfect implementation of every technique. People who achieve lasting results focus on establishing regular rhythms with the 4 pillars rather than trying to execute each practice flawlessly from the beginning. They start small, building sustainable habits gradually, rather than attempting dramatic lifestyle overhauls that create resistance and eventual abandonment of the entire approach. Successful practitioners also adapt the methods to their specific circumstances rather than following rigid prescriptions.